Hello, hello, fearless listeners. Are you ready for another episode of Let Fear Bounce? It's the podcast that's all about conquering challenges and facing our fears. I'm your host, Kim Langling, and each week we'll dive into inspiring stories, expert insights, and practical tips to help you turn your fear into your greatest ally. So sit back, relax, grab that cup of coffee, and let's discover how to make fear our bouncing board towards a life filled with endless possibilities right here on Let Fear Bounce. Have you asked yourself who's going to take care of your pet should something happen to you? Well, I've got an answer for you. The Do-It-Yourself Pet Estate Will Kit that gives you peace of mind that your family pet will be cared for when you are no longer physically able to care for them, with easy step-by-step instructions that guide you through the task of completing forms necessary to add your furry loved one to your existing will. Visit KimLanglingAuthor.com to find out more. Hello, everybody. Welcome to another episode of Let Fear Bounce. I am so happy that you are deciding to spend just a small part of your day with myself and my special guest today, Derek Newborn. Now, after being named one of Florida's top personal trainers, he became a published fitness model. But the more attention he received, the more self-destructive he became in every aspect of his life. Now, this is his words and his self-proclamation here. I've been a teenage father, a construction worker, a personal trainer, a fitness model, and a business owner. But I've also been a liar, a cheater, a backstabber, and a narcissist. His ultimate goal was to help others gain control of their own lives through the Newborn Blueprint. Now, with that goal and the Newborn Blueprint created, the program is to help others live every aspect of their life at the highest level while being able to avoid the costly pitfalls of our modern society. Derek, wow. Welcome, first off, to Let Fear Bounce. But my goodness, you know what? I really, truly appreciate your honesty in saying, this is who I am and what I am, but this is also what I was.
Yeah.
So, but 100%. Welcome to Let Fear Bounce.
Thanks for having me. I'm excited to be here. I'm excited, very excited.
You know, and I don't, and this is, please don't take this as negative, but you don't meet many men that just flat out say, this is what I was. And I was kind of a piece of crap for a while there.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, that's one of the, extreme ownership was one of the best ways I was able to move on from that person and that part of my life and start creating healing inside myself and healing in those that I've hurt.
So you became, you said in your bio, after you were named one of Florida's top personal trainers and you became a published fitness model, the more attention you received, the more self-destructive you became. Can you share a little bit of that journey if you could?
Yeah, really, I had built a successful fitness business, which was it was actually like a dream of mine. I used to lay in bed and being like, man, that would be just so great if I could make a career out of fitness and helping others. And I created that for myself. And then I got to that point, and then I was like, man, that would be just amazing to, get paid essentially to be in shape and have people take pictures of you. And then that happened. And then I also created a relationship with the woman of my dreams that I was in love with before I ever met, created that. So from the outside, I had literally manifested and created my greatest life ever. The more attention that came with the modeling and being successful in business and all that stuff, the more attention that came with it, the more lying I did, the more cheating I did, the more using and abusing the people around me. But all that self-sabotage, no matter what it was, whether it was cheating or manipulating people, I never felt good on the inside. So through that whole journey, the outside looked great. On the inside, I felt terrible about myself no matter what I did. So the things I would do, I thought would make me feel better, make me feel whole. And really, it just kept destroying each avenue of my life, my friendships, my relationships. And after so long, people can only take so much of of that kind of behavior before everybody's got to remove themselves from you. And feeling empty, with life being successful and then all that being taken away, essentially hit rock bottom. Had 2 suicide attempts, and then I was able to overcome then. And that's when I was at rock bottom and realized, okay, the only common denominator in all my life's troubles is me. So clearly it's not all these people that I'm blaming. It's not social media that I'm blaming. It's me. Something's going on with me that I'm not who I'm supposed to be. And that's where the extreme ownership comes in. I had to first take extreme ownership that I was solely responsible for where I was at in my life. Because once you have extreme ownership of where you are, now you have extreme ownership of wherever you want to go in life, whoever you want to become, you have that ownership. So I started the journey of healing, which entailed really reverse engineering my life and seeing and realizing how much abandonment had shown up through my childhood years, through my teenage years, through my early 20s. And really, that's all I was trying to do, was avoid being abandoned ever again during this successful period. And in turn, I ended up getting abandoned because of the self-sabotage. So once I was able to unpack that, then I could start mapping out my journey and who I was, and literally see that as a completely different person, a completely different life.
Yeah. You say, when you made that decision, you saw what you were doing, what you had become, that you were unhappy, and all those, you just didn't feel good inside
Mm-hmm.
as
Yeah.
as a human being.
Mm-hmm.
What was that one point? And then you also mentioned a couple suicide attempts as well. So obviously you had hit your rock bottom.
Mm-hmm.
You had hit your rock bottom. What was that one thing, that little spark that ignited in you that said, I want to be a better person. I don't want to leave this planet right now. I've got something positive to leave on this planet.
It was essentially when I was at the very bottom, like I said, I realized the common denominator was me. And it was like I had flashbacks. I was like, dude, you created, the fitness business, you created your modeling career, you created the relationships. I know you have the power to create whatever it is that you want. So if you can take ownership and realize that from here on out, you can do it all over again. Whatever kind of life you want to manifest, you can do it because you've done it before. You just did it in the wrong way. So that was kind of like the kickstart to it. And then essentially making a point that my whole journey and downfall would not be in vain, that I'm going to use it to help myself, and I'm going to create whatever it is that I needed at my worst and start delivering that to people. And from there, the healing coincides with the deep work. The deep work coincides with the ownership. The ownership coincides with creating the newborn blueprint. So it became full circle. So the more healing I'm doing myself, the more I'm able to help others. And that kind of just
Exactly.
builds in momentum. Yeah.
And I love that. And thanks for sharing that, and
Mm-hmm.
those parts of your journey, because it's easy for me, that I'm talking from my own personal experience. I've had my own bumpy road. We all do. We're humans.
Yeah.
We,
Right.
if you're living, you're going to have some bumps in the road.
Yeah.
But I've had my own in those very, very dark spots. And you have that something, whatever it may be, that just, gives a little niggle in your brain, like, wait a minute, wait. You're not worthless.
Yeah.
You are worth having around. You have worth. Those little sparks that start that is awesome to get you on your journey. But it's easy to say that's when that happened and this is what I did, but it's an incredibly hard journey to go through.
It's a hard journey. It's a long journey. It's always going to take longer than you want it to. And most of the time it's a lonely journey to get to where you want to go. And that's the what people don't realize. It's an amazing journey, but it doesn't mean it's easy, and it doesn't mean everything's going to happen like you want it to.
You said it's a lonely journey,
Mm-hmm.
and I couldn't agree more.
Yeah.
I couldn't agree more. There's folks that are out there listening right now. They understand that. They understand that statement, but there might be people out there that don't understand it. You know, if you're working on yourself or you're seeking help, maybe you're going to a counselor, a psychiatrist, psychologist, what have you, life coach, whatever it is, wherever your heart leads you to go to get that help. It's not easy, and it is very lonely because you feel, well, I guess I'll turn this into a question.
Sure.
On that journey, your journey of healing and self-discovery and figuring out who you really were. You weren't this that other
Right.
person, because that's
Yeah.
not who you were born to be. You
Right.
know, that loneliness, why did you state it that way? It's a lonely journey, I guess. That's how I want to frame that question.
Yeah, it's a lonely journey because number one, you have to start, it's just you. So when I say lonely journey, like even now, like I know I'm the best version of myself that I've ever been. That doesn't mean people that I care about and people that I love choose to see me as my best version because they have their own trauma that I've inflicted on them, right? So just because I'm changed and I proclaim all these things and I talk about on social media, that doesn't mean the most important people in your life have to go along with it. So it gets lonely because, you're out here doing the work, doing everything you can to become the best person. And that's why you have to be 100% committed, because just because you're doing the work doesn't mean everybody's going to come back in your life, doesn't mean everybody's going to celebrate you, because there's real trauma there. So just because you're healing, somebody else's healing involves removing you from their life for good. So you have to be rock solid in who you are, whether these people are here or these people are not. You have to stay on your journey. You can't do it to get people back. You can't do it for people to pat you on the back or console you. You have to do it for yourself specifically, no matter what.
Absolutely. You have to be able to look in the mirror at the end of the day and appreciate where you're at and who you are.
Mm-hmm.
And just to know, you're doing your best to be a better version than you were
Yeah.
yesterday.
Mm-hmm.
And
Yeah.
I've read and I've heard people, and I've said it myself. There are people that are in your lives for a season,
Yeah.
and that season is there for a reason.
Yeah. 100%.
And we might
100%.
not know what it is. I guess it's not our job to know.
It's not our job to know. It's not our job to know.
That's right. We will find out one day, but not
I was
now.
about to say you'll find out either way, but it won't be when you want.
That's right. That's right. It's not in our time. That is for sure.
Exactly.
That is for sure. So the newborn blueprint, share a little bit about that.
So it's essentially my coaching program. So number one, I work with men who are in the position of successful on the outside, but again, self-sabotaging on the inside. So I coach them and teach them how to overcome the pitfalls that I overcame, whether it be, infidelity in relationships, just living out of alignment. It's a place for men to come where they can essentially say, hey, I'm doing A, B, and C. And instead of us saying, reminding them that they shouldn't be doing it, we start creating active game plans to pull them back into alignment. When it comes to the women, essentially, I teach women how to avoid the man that I used to be, or women that are in relationships with men that I used to be, how to remove themselves and to heal and transform and recover from being in that type of relationship. So it's really a blueprint on avoiding all my mistakes. Really.
Just don't do what I did.
Yeah. Watch what I did and then do the opposite. That's
Yes.
what it comes
Yeah.
down to.
Do the opposite. So what made you decide? And I find it interesting because it seems like, and on your website and all that, the bulk of your focus is towards men, which I think is
Mhm.
awesome. And
Mhm.
it's needed. It's desperately
Yeah.
needed what you're doing. So I do appreciate and thank you for all that you do.
Thank you.
How did you bring the women into it?
Yeah. Well, I have a women's fitness program, a metabolism program specifically designed for women. I've worked with women all over the world actually for 7+ years, helping them transform their body and their metabolism. And really, the more I became vocal about my story and my journey, more and more women were like, oh my God, I'm trying to deal with that now. Or, they connected in some way, shape, or form. And then we realized, or I should say, they realized how much the mind and body are connected. So we combine the metabolism program with the newborn blueprint. So now they're fully transforming mind, body, and soul. So that's how the women came. They actually, the more I shared my story, the more they could relate, and the more they trusted me, because I can give them firsthand knowledge on, your partner is doing A, B, and C because of A, B, and C. Or, I can also talk to them about how they're contributing to their partner's self-sabotage, because they have to take extreme ownership too. And I think that's what's not very common in this world, is helping people take ownership instead of patting them on the back or telling them, they're the victim or whatever, when they had things happen to them. But you still have to have ownership of the way you respond to things.
And that's another another tough thing to swallow, is taking ownership of your part in it.
Yeah.
It's tough, because I've been there too. And when you have to sit there and say, I'm not a perfect person by any means in this relationship. I may not be doing this, and this, but I said this, and I did do that, and I did that in an incredibly hurtful way.
Yeah. Like you said, it's a tough pill to swallow, but the reality is, I couldn't do half. I don't want to say half. My partner during the time, through actions or reactions, enabled me to continue self-sabotaging, because she had her own unhealed trauma prior to us. So, if the first time I was caught cheating, she put it into it and be like, not a chance, I'm worth more than this, then I might have changed earlier. But, her forgiving and finding, trying to make things work, essentially subconsciously just told me I had a free pass to continue doing whatever I'm doing. And that's where the extreme ownership for both sides has to come.
And that's a pretty raw statement there. You're like, I felt like I had a free pass to just keep on doing what I was doing.
Yeah. I mean, that's what it was at that time.
I was in a relationship with someone like that.
Yeah. Yeah. So
I can kind of see what you're saying, and I never understood it.
Mm-hmm.
And that's, from the opposite end, the opposite end of the relationship part. I never understood that. I just didn't understand it. So I'm glad that you're able to work with both men and women, because you're seeing both sides now, and you're probably getting really raw, real stuff,
Exactly. Yeah.
So when you're working with these folks, do you ever once in a while, you just get these little darts, like, darts in your soul going, oh, I did that to someone.
No, there's times where I get emotional, because I always tell them I'll always be transparent with them, because I expect them to be transparent. So just like this conversation, I get super transparent about things I've done in the past and all that. And sometimes I get emotional because there's still shame and guilt attached to those actions. And then sometimes that, I kind of pinch myself and smile that I'm able to be in this position to use it as an example. And I've come this far that I can stand tall and talk about it and with others to help others, instead of just holding on to it and letting it crush me
and fester.
Yes, exactly.
That's the word I use. I'm like, oh, can't let that one fester.
Yeah. I've worked with people all over the world, and I wouldn't be in this position. I wouldn't even be on this podcast if I didn't go through that journey. So I know it was all for a reason.
Absolutely. All of our journeys, there is a reason behind it. And I think as long as your heart and your eyes are open to it, to being able to truly see, oh, that might be why I went through that, because I couldn't be sitting here doing what I'm doing right now. And 2020 that hindsight is amazing.
Right.
You look back, you're like, wow, that wasn't a fun journey, but I can kind of see, I can see why I went through that to be where I'm at right now.
Exactly.
what do you see for yourself? What are your goals? Do you have a goal, or do you envision something else, you know?
Actually, I mean, the ultimate goal is to help as many people as possible. And one of the other goals that is just going to get completed is we're hosting our first in-person mastermind event in October that's already sold out, um, which is 2 days of everything we're talking about, how to essentially let go of shame, guilt, how to heal past trauma, how to step into your new potential, how to own all those dreams in your head you can make reality, just like I've done. So that was a huge goal that I was pretty scared of actually committing to, and we pulled the trigger, and we're knocking that out in October. So like I said, the journey has taken me so much farther than I could ever think of.
Well, congratulations on having that event that's upcoming in October, because
Thank you.
that's a big deal.
Yeah,
That's a
it
big
is.
deal.
It
And
is.
you mentioned that you were kind of scared about going into it. And of course, the name of my podcast is Let Fear Bounce for a reason.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
So that fear that you were holding, what was that fear? Fear of not being good enough, people weren't going to
The
show
fear,
up.
yeah, the fear of not being good enough, the fear of um, why would people fly to Florida to hang out with me or be in my presence for 2 days. And it was always like, you have the dreams in your mind, but you're scared to act on them because you feel like you're not good enough. You feel like you can't achieve them. And then, to be honest, some of my coaching clients were like, can you please have an in-person event? Like, we need that. And then I fully committed to it. And we built it all out. We got guest speakers that have massively influenced my life. They're coming. And now I have clients from Canada, from way out west, from South America, all flying into Florida. And I'm excited. I'm more excited for all these people to get together because they all have such similar stories and they don't realize how much they have in common because I only talk to them one-on-one. So I'm really excited for all of them to connect. I think it's going to be super powerful in that way.
I was just going to say, oh my goodness, the connections that are going to happen, and the just the whole atmosphere, the
Yeah,
atmosphere of an event like that. It's going to be you're going to it's going to be visceral. Like, you can
it's going to
feel
be
it.
crazy. I'm
Yeah.
excited. Yeah. Thank
Very
you.
exciting stuff. Very
Thank you.
exciting stuff. Now, is that something that's still open, or is that just open to your clients?
This one is only open to clients because it's the first one. But like I said, it's also sold out at this point. But the next one will be open to the public and be on a much larger scale. This is our
And
first one
see,
ever.
listen to you saying the next one's going to be on a larger
Yeah,
scale.
see, you picked that up.
I did. I picked up what you're tossing down there, Derek. Awesome, though. That's very exciting stuff. Very exciting stuff. So after you get done with this big event in October, and I'm because I'm sure it's just the excitement and all that's just going to be building and building. After that,
Mhm.
how do you see yourself? Are you, and this is just, I guess, I don't know. I've talked to folks that say they have these big things they've been planning for months and months, and afterwards they feel almost kind of emptied out and let down in a way.
Mm, mm.
After putting so much into it, and then you're receiving so much from others and giving so much of yourself, and then it's like they have this week afterwards where they just feel empty and depressed, actually.
Yeah. I mean, our goal is to keep growing via those events, but also making it having a more intimate in-person events where it's, like a two-person retreat where we get into some pretty deep stuff in a private setting, and we go on, adventures and experiences, and really just taking that because there's so many people out there that are essentially emotionally or mentally or health or physically stuck in their life, and they've been that way for so long they don't believe that there's anything different out there. So the more we spread our message via people, and then it's essentially word of mouth, it's going to give more and more people hope. More and more people see other people going from where they were to where they want to go. So it's really just expressing the message nonstop and letting my journey be the blueprint. That's why it's called the newborn blueprint. It's how you do it.
Well, you're tossing out nuggets of hope everywhere.
There you go.
Yeah, you use the word hope. You want to give people hope because, and you made a very good point. There are folks that have been so stuck for so many years, they don't realize they're stuck.
Yeah.
They're in that, I always say bubble, because I was in that bubble for a while.
Yeah. So
Yeah. And then when you come out, so I was like, boy, when that bubble popped, it wasn't fun. And holy cow, did it hurt.
Yeah.
Because taking a good hard look at yourself and your life and all of that, that's not easy, like we said earlier. But once that bubble pops, you're like, oh, look at all the color.
Exactly. Exactly. Yeah. Exactly right. Exactly right.
Life is not so gray and dreary, and it doesn't have to be bitter, and you don't have to feel tired and depressed all the time.
Exactly. Exactly.
So I'm always saying, to people, gosh, I'm tossing out nuggets of hope everywhere. Just catch one, and let's pop that
just
bubble.
takes one. That's right.
That's right. Just doink. Sometimes I don't know how you feel, but there are times when I'm talking to folks and it's, you're thinking, they're just not getting it.
Yeah.
They want to hold on so tight. And I'm a Christian. So I had talked to my pastor one time. I said, I'm tossing out these nuggets of hope or mustard seeds or whatever it is you want to call, and they're not catching them. I think I just need to get a shovel full and throw it right in their face.
That'll do it.
Yeah, that'll do it. Or not. Who knows?
Yeah. You never know. You never know.
You never know. That's right. That is right. Well, Derek, let people know where they can find you. And of course you have your sold out event, which is just coming up in October. So again, congratulations on that. That's a big, big deal. It truly is.
I'm pretty excited. Thank you.
I just have a feeling it's going to go great. And I can't, I'd love to keep in touch because I want to hear how that went for you.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Super.
I'll be happy to tell you, I'm sure.
And I'd be happy to hear all about it. So let folks know where they can find you.
DerekNewborn.com, thenewbornblueprint.com. If you want to reach out to me and connect with me, you can do that on Instagram at dnewborn. So I keep my social media very personable and very organic. You can just shoot me a message if you have questions, comments, concerns, or just want to connect. Just shoot me a DM on there, and I'll get back to you. I like to keep it super, super personable.
Awesome. So I like to ask all of my guests before we wrap up, if you could toss out a nugget of hope to my listeners, something that they can tuck away in their pocket and carry with them for the rest of the day.
So the nugget of hope is, I want you to realize that when you wake up tomorrow, you have the chance to make a choice to create a change in your life. And you get that every single morning when you wake up, a chance to make a change in your life, whatever you want it to be.
Good or bad.
That's right. That's right. You get the chance.
That's right. It is your choice, folks. What an awesome nugget of hope. Thank you for tossing that out there, Derek.
You're welcome. You're very welcome.
This has been an absolute pleasure. I've loved having you on, and I do want to have you back on because I want to hear how this event went, because I just know that there's going to be lives that are changed or turned around, and
thank you. I appreciate that.
What an exciting thing. I'm excited for you, and I really don't even know you that well.
I appreciate the excitement. You're equally as excited. I can definitely tell.
All right. So thanks once again, Derek, for being my guest on Let Fear Bounce. It's been a true pleasure.
Thank you for having me so much. I truly appreciate it.
And everybody out there listening, I hope that you were able to catch that nugget that Derek tossed out. And I hope that you all have a beautiful, blessed day. This is Kim Langling, your host of Let Fear Bounce. Everybody be well, stay well, and be blessed. And that is a wrap, my fearless friends. Thanks for bouncing along with me on another episode of Let Fear Bounce. I hope you're feeling a bit motivated and ready to take on any challenge that might come your way in the coming days. Be sure to hit that subscribe button so you never miss an episode of Let Fear Bounce. Tune in each week for your dose of inspiration from my amazing guests from all over the world. So until next time, keep bouncing forward and stay fearless, my friends. Everybody be well, stay well, and above all, be blessed.